Okay, wonderful. I think we are now live as well. So it's a good time to start the session, and I'm sure more students will be joining in very soon. So good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining in. Very quickly, let me introduce myself. I am Shilpi Jain. I take care of the ACCA qualification at VG Learning Destination, a household name in the CA fraternity across India and across the globe as well. I'm sure you all have joined in here because you are curious to know about that, what more is there or what beyond is there in terms of an accounting qualification that is getting recognized in more than 170 plus countries. So we are talking about the ACCA qualification here. And let me take this opportunity to very quickly thanks the ACCA India officials, Mr. Prabhanshu Mittal, as well as Ms. Himani Sharma, for having spared out their valuable time to join us and make our students aware of the multifaceted benefits that this more than 100-year qualification brings across the table for each one of us. So very quickly, quick housekeeping rules for everyone. Anybody who wants to ask a question, has a doubt, any query you want to ask, please raise your query in the chat box. Just type in your query. We shall definitely, read your query and answer your query as well. We do have a question answer session towards the end of the session as well. So we will all have ample of time to get all your queries answered. Now, without wasting much time, let me very quickly give a very warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Mr. Prabhanshu Mittal, who is the Education Partner Relation Lead for North, East, as well as West India at ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. His current role builds upon more than 6.5 years of experience working for ACCA, where he has worked in developing institutional relationships, business development, as well as several new projects to contribute towards the accountancy profession. He has an overall experience of more than 13 years, and some of his key skills and capabilities include leadership, managing large businesses, partnerships, as well as program management. He definitely is a lot passionate about bringing value in Indian society through enriching the quality of the education in India, which we at VG Learning have very personally seen over our association with not just only Prabhanshu, but also the ACCA body in India as well. So over to you, Prabhanshu, and thank you so much for joining and sparing in time for our students.
Thank you, Shilpi, for the kind introduction. Just reconfirming, am I audible here?
Yes, very much audible.
Yes, Prabhanshu.
Yes.
Okay,
I've stopped sharing my screen, so please feel free to share your screen.
Of course, thank you. So, it's indeed a pleasure to be over here and interacting with so many students and interacting along with VGLD. I think this has been so many interactions which we have along with VGLD, and as Shilpi was talking about, the super passion which I have is that probably, I can help you out building your career. Now, we talk about ACCA, but before I talk about ACCA, I would like to talk about some of the key changes which are happening in the finance and accountancy profession today. The themes of changes. The first one is the increased regulation and stronger governance. Across the globe, if we see that there is a significant increase in the regulations and the governance, which we see after implementation of GST and so many other regimes across the taxation, so on and so forth. Leveraging the technologies. I think we are living in a tech era, and especially post-COVID, we see that a lot of technology is coming in the education. The same is actually has started way before COVID era in the field of the finance. So we talk about AI, we talk about robotics, we talk about so many other things which are related to the digital technologies. Expectations on the profession. I think this is something which I'll cover during the later part of my presentation, because this is something which is very important. And one part of it is a very integral component of ACCA qualification is also experience and ethics. And the globalization, of course, after 1991 and 92, when the India opened up its economy. We have become a truly global economy, and now the world is actually connected to each other than ever before. Now, the ACCA qualification, if we talk about, the first thing is, what is ACCA? So ACCA is Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. You can say that it's a British body, and we are a founding member of IFAC, which is the International Federation of Accountants, and we are one of the leading professional accountancy body in the world. Now, what we are actually meant for? We are meant, number one, to be a super connector. Super connector in the sense that not only we are making sure that the people all across the world are accessing a quality education through the qualifications like ACCA, but also we are making sure that they can actually apply the knowledge which they have gained. So the application oriented and make accessible qualification is what ACCA is all about. We have got a close to 1 million student and member base all across the world. Of course, this number is very dynamic. So we have crossed over 250,000 members and 6.5 lakh students across the world, which are spread in 181 countries as on today. So which is covering almost 90% of the globe. We are world's leading accountancy qualification, and having incorporated in 1904, we actually are enjoying 100+ years of the innovation in the profession. Now, let's talk about some statistics. So globally, we do have 110 offices and across 60+ countries, 7,400 approved employers, over 500 exam centers in 148 countries, what we have today. We also do have an option of the remotely invigilated exams. So not only the exam centers we have, which are over 500 all across the world, and you can actually choose any exam center of your choice, whichever part of the world you are actually present in. But also, if you don't have the exam center nearby to your location, you can also opt for the remotely invigilated examinations. So, I mean, that's another one of the innovation which we have actually brought in the profession. We are also working with 1,000+ universities as on today, and close to 2,000+ accredited programs working with them. In India, now what is more important is that what is been ACCA doing in India? We do have 2 offices in Delhi and Mumbai. I'm based in Delhi office along with Himani, who is also based in Delhi office. Over the last few years, we have today, as on date, I mean, we have got a 50,000 students who are pursuing the ACCA qualification. And this is in addition to several thousand students who have already qualified ACCA in India. ACCA programs are running in 125+ leading universities and autonomous colleges. We have got a 60+ approved learning partners, and VGLD is, of course, one of them. And we have got a 90+ approved employer. Now, you would be hearing one thing, which is approved employer. What does it mean, right? Approved employer means that these are the some employers, that means the corporates, which are not hiring ACCA talent, which are preferring ACCA talent while hiring with the decisions. And these are some of these are also sponsoring ACCA qualification for their own employees. Let me give you an example. KPMG, I mean, everybody has heard about the KPMG, right? KPMG is a company which sponsors ACCA qualification for its employees as well in India. So just to give you an example, and that's a kind of the recognition which ACCA as a qualification enjoys worldwide, including in India. Now, why ACCA? Why should I do ACCA? Number one, there are tons of opportunities. As I said, that we are a super connector within the community of the students and the members, super connected along with the employers, super connected if you really want to upskill yourself in the future. So yes, there are tons of opportunities which are there with ACCA qualification. Employers do trust ACCA. I'll actually touch upon this later, but this is something which is very important, that employers do trust ACCA. Why do they trust ACCA is something, of course, which I'll cover. We have brilliantly flexible qualification. And as I said, the networking is very important. Everybody is actually active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram these days, right? These are what? These are the social networking platforms, which you say. Some are professional, some are not professional, or rather personal. But yes, these are all networking platforms. And yes, ACCA helps you to build that network. So if you are an ACCA, you reach out, say, for example, you go to Germany or UK or in the US or within India. I mean, people recognize you. They understand that what kind of the skills which you are carrying along with you. And that's what the power of ACCA is. What this qualification looks like. Now, in the qualification, there are actually 3 E's. The first E is the examination. You can see the chart on your screen. The second E is experience, which is the practical experience requirement. And the third E, which is very important, is the examination. So now there are total 13 papers in the ACCA qualification. You can see the first level is applied knowledge, which is colored in gray here. The first paper is business and technology. We have recently changed the name. Then management accounting and financial accounting. Once you finish off these three papers, you are given a diploma in accounting and business. The next level is applied skills, which comprises of 6 papers ranging from law to the costing to taxation to accounts, which is financial reporting, audit, and financial management. Once you finish off these 6 papers, you are given advanced diploma in accounting and business. You also do have a choice to get a BSc in applied accounting and finance from Oxford Brookes University, UK, just by submitting one research and analysis project. So you really don't have to give any additional paper, just submit one research paper and you'll be given a BSc from Oxford Brookes University. Then you move to the next level, which is a strategic professional level. The first 2 papers are compulsory, which are strategic business leader and strategic business reporting. And the next 4 papers, which are financial management, performance management, tax, and audit and assurance, the advanced variants of these. You have to choose any 2. Now, here we are actually giving you the opportunity. If you want to make your career in audit or probably taxation, you can actually choose the subjects which are relevant to that. You really don't have to do the things which you don't want to do. Rather, focus on what you think is the prospective career for yourself is. And that's where another power of ACCA comes in. Once you finish off all these 13 papers, you are given diploma in accounting and business. In addition to this, of course, you are required to do ethics and professional skills module. Now, you would say that why ethics? Ethics is an integral part of ACCA qualification. We really want the accountancy profession to be pure. And that's why it's about teaching you some of the professional skills like doing the right thing and in the ethical manner through ethics and professional skill module. And the third thing is practical experience requirement. Now, total practical experience requirement is of 36 months. Any working experience which is relevant to finance and accounting, which you have before, during, or after the qualification can be the part of the practical experience requirement. I give you an example here. Say, for example, somebody is in the local qualification final level. That means the CA final level, right? They would have done their articleship. Now, in whatever subject or in whatever, the field of accountancy and finance, you have done your articleship. Articleship is for 3 years. You can actually file that against your practical experience requirement as well. So you typically save 3 years time. If you don't have that and you're coming probably from 11th or 12th or you're graduate, so what you can do is that you finish off your qualification, get on a job, that working experience will be counted towards your practical experience requirement. Still, you don't have to do a separate articleship, and rather what you are doing is that you are saving 3 years of your career by filing the practical experience requirement. And through this flexibility, I mentioned the word flexibility earlier. That's what it is. There is another thing. There is no grouping in ACCA. So while you can see that there are levels which are there, still there is no grouping. You can actually appear for one paper at a time. Now, what is an advantage? If you're appearing for one paper at a time, for example, you will be more prepared for appearing that paper. There are 4 exam sessions which we have: March, June, September, December, last month of every quarter. That's how usually the accountants remember that. Imagine if you're appearing for one paper at a time and you have to finish off all the 13 papers. We do have certain exemptions. I'll talk about those exemptions towards the end. Still, you will be able to finish off your qualification in 3 years time comfortably, because it's relatively more because of the flexibility. I'm not saying the qualification is easy, but because of the flexibility which is there, you will have more opportunity to study that paper in depth and perform better at the examination if you are appearing for one paper at a time, or maybe 2 papers at a time. You can choose up to 4. You can choose how many papers you want to appear. rather going for a group where you have to actually get certain marks in the entire group and then certain marks in each of the paper. So that's what the flexibility ACCA qualification offers. If you want to pursue after ACCA qualification, you want to pursue your master's, you can actually get an MSc from University of London, which is of course one of the top universities in the world, just by completing 2 online modules. Or you can also get an MBA from University of Ireland or Oxford Brookes University of your choice. Now, how is ACCA qualification different? Number one, the faster progression. I mentioned about the flexibility with practical experience requirement, the flexibility with having no grouping, 4 exam sessions, so on and so forth. So that actually helps you to progress with the qualification faster. If I were to ask you, what do you think is the average age of a chartered accountant worldwide? Can you please pour in your comments in the chat box? The average age for a chartered accountant, okay, I can see some messages coming around 24, 25, 27. Somebody is saying 26. So what you are saying is 28. So roughly what you are saying is average age of a chartered accountant varies somewhere around 24 to 27, 28. Correct? There are students in India who have completed ACCA qualification as young as at the age of 19 or 20. Now, imagine in a qualification where you have to do a foundations level, then an intermediate, then 3 years of articleship, then a final level. Usually you will be able to finish off that qualification if you are a good student and you're passing in all the papers at once, roughly 4.5 to 5 years, because there is a 3 years of articleship, right? Now, on an average, usually people take around 7 to 8 years to finish it up. What I am saying is that in the ACCA, even if you don't have to get any exemptions, I mean, you're not getting any exemptions out of it, still you'll be able to finish up the qualification in 3 years time. So what you are doing is that you are saving 4 to 5 years of your career. Now imagine what you can do in 4 to 5 years of your career. You can get a couple of promotions, you can get your salary doubled, you can buy a car for yourself from your own money, or maybe you can book a house for yourself. I mean, there are so many things which you can do. In fact, maybe your classmates are actually working in your team. I mean, so there are so many things which you can do if you are saving 4.5 or 5 years time, if you are pursuing a flexible qualification like ACCA. And because of this flexibility, and I'm again reiterating that this is not easy, but because of this flexibility, it has got a better pass rates. So roughly, if I talk about, I'll give you a tentative figure. For applied knowledge, the pass percentage is 80-85%. For applied skills, the pass percentage varies from 40 to 45, 50% rather, 40 to 50%. For strategic professional level, it varies from 30 to 45%. Now, imagine that's the kind of the pass rates which we have. And this is just because of the flexibility. I've already talked about the flexibility. I've already talked about the rewarding qualification, whether it's diploma in accounting and business, advanced diploma, BSc from Oxford Brookes University, MSc from University of London, so on and so forth. And I mentioned one point earlier that why does actually corporate prefers ACCA talent? Because there are 3 reasons. Number one, computer-based examination. Now you would be a little surprised that what the computer-based examination, people really don't know how to use computers these days. Computer-based examination give you that exposure to work on the computers and further leverage that. Because what as a corporate, what I would want today, I want the people to perform on the day one. I want the talent to be job ready. And that's what the ACCA, the method of evaluation prepares you to do. I'm not saying that you really have to be computer savvy, but the basic typing or somewhat Excel, basic things you should know. We all know how to use the smartphones, right? Dynamic syllabus. ACCA changes its syllabus every year. So we take the feedback from the corporates. Basis on that feedback, we change our syllabus every year. sometimes 5%, sometimes more than, and sometimes very significantly. But yes, we make those amendments into our syllabus every year. So our syllabus is most cutting edge, contemporary, and futuristic at the same time. Practical and case study basis evaluation. Again, I give you an example. You can see the paper here is strategic business leader. Now, with the strategic business leader paper, this is one case study of 4 hours. We give you 1 hour to read and 3 hours to respond to, of 15 to 8, somewhere around 12 to 15 pages, one case study. And this is the mix of all the concepts which you have understood, learned during applied skills and applied knowledge. That's what actually this question paper is all about. Now, why do we do that? Because when you work in a corporate, in the real life scenario, the situations don't come to you as a chapter or as a book. They come to you as a case itself, which you have to resolve. You have to have that problem solving skills within you. And that's what ACCA papers prepare you to do. So we prepare you to be job ready so that you can apply the knowledge which you have gained while pursuing this qualification. And that's what we do. Now, the most important question which comes in the picture is that after all what I have done, what kind of jobs am I going to get? Where I'm going to get those jobs, right? Are there jobs available in India? So let me answer you that question. What I'm doing is I am going on a screen live at this point in time. The portal is jobs.accglobal.com. This is the ACCS career portal. Here you can see, you can search for the jobs from region wise. If you're looking for the internships, you can look here. Now, some of the featured jobs here, you can search the jobs by role as well. Then if you want to read out some articles, etc., that is also all available here. Now, let us search for some jobs here. We all are in India, right? So let us search for the jobs in India. Okay. As you can see, as on today, there are more than 1,400 jobs which are live for ACCA professionals in India. Now, while these are 1,400 jobs, actually there are many jobs which require more than one person. So for example, if EY actually comes to me and say that I want to hire, say, people at XYZ position, they might come to us, say that we want to hire, say, for example, 200 assistant manager, or maybe Y number of managers, or so on and so forth. That will be listed here as one. But if you talk about the number of opportunities, that is huge. And that's why, end of the day, what it is bringing to you, we have got a 50,000 students. Say, for example, we have got a 2,500 live jobs. Now you can see, and all of the 50,000 students are not at all level. There are many students, and in fact, most of the students at the initial level. So what it does to you, it actually helps you. So we all understand numerator and denominator, right? It helps you to better your chances to get into a better job just by, because there are not many people who are doing it, right? Now, where are those jobs? So Michael Page, we all understand that it is a career portal itself. Michael Page puts a lot of jobs over here for us. Then EY, believe me, Big Four are the largest consumer of ACCA talent worldwide. EY is a platinum approved learning partner with us. They are looking for assurance digital manager, senior finance analyst, so on and so forth. I want to get into investment banking. JP Morgan Chase is there. There is Morgan Stanley, which is also hiring ACCA talent. I want to get into IT. Dell Technologies is hiring. Then again, back to EY and all across EY. I mean, back to JP Morgan Chase and so on and so forth. So then I move forward. Let's see, State Street, Credit Suisse, of course, they've got an big office in Pune. Then UBS is hiring, back to State Street. And you can see all these postings are actually just one day ago. I can further move forward and I can continue to show you that how many positions are actually available. So let me move probably to the 5th page, 2 days ago. So you can see that there are corporates which are demanding ACC professionals on a day-to-day basis within India as well. Similarly, say for example, if I want to look for the jobs in United Kingdom, 18,277 job listings. Now ranging from page personnel, Santander, back to page personnel, of course, Michael Page, so on and so forth. Pricewaterhouse, then Winston Churchill, Pricewaterhouse, so on and so forth. So that way you can actually continue to search whichever part of the world or whichever part of the country you are looking for the jobs at. Now, you would also talk about that. What is the recognition of the ACCA qualification? So ACCA qualification, of course, has got a statutory rights in the UK. We also enjoy the similar kind of the rights in many other countries. So for example, you go to UAE and you are an ACCA member, you can actually write on your card UACA, because the local professional qualification out there, local professional body out there, which is AAA, recognizes ACCA qualification. Similarly, in the European Union, you can look for the ACCA talent out. You can look for the statutory rights out there, and many other parts of the world, including in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, or in Middle East, so on and so forth. So there are more than 65 countries where ACCA qualification is actually recognized. Now, I'm just conscious of the time, and that's why. So in India, Grant Thornton, Mercer, Vodafone, Deloitte, Unilever, Barclays, Pricewaterhouse, KPMG, so Shell, Procter & Gamble, HSBC, Oracle. I mean, there are so many companies which are hiring ACCA talent. In fact, Reliance has also started hiring ACCA talent now. This is what the career portal is, which I just ran you through. And job profiles ranging from audit senior to the CFO or to the partner, basis on what kind of experience which you also have. Now, the last part is, which is very interesting and which is very important, is related to exemptions. So if you are a chartered accountant and you have completed your qualification post 2003, you get the maximum number of exemptions, which are 9. So from the first 9 papers, you are exempted and you are left with only 4 papers. If you are an IPCC, you are left with 8 papers because your 5 papers are exempted. Similarly, if you are a commerce graduate, you are exempted from the first 4 papers and 9 papers are left out for you. And if you are BCom plus IPCC, which many students are, so BCom plus IPCC, you can see there is one law which is extra in BCom. So you get 6 paper exemptions and you're left with 7 papers. Now, interesting part is those who are in the CA final, they have made 1 attempt or 2 attempts. For them, they can get paper to paper exemptions as well. So if you have passed certain papers, say for example, SFM or your FR or accounts paper or costing paper or law paper, against that also you can get certain exemptions. So for SFM, you can get an exemption of FM, costing for the my performance management paper, law against law, so on and so forth. So these things will also help you to further progress faster with the qualification. I mean, if you're pursuing so. I mean, you can sometimes finish off the qualification much earlier than 3 years, I mean, which I actually just mentioned. And I'm not saying that you'll be able to finish off the qualification in 3 years. What I'm saying is you can, if you're giving 1 paper at a time and passing, then yes, you are more likely to finish it off. So that's it from my side. Back to you, Shilpi.
Thank you so much, Prabhanshu, for enlightening all our students with how relevant and how progressive is the ACCA qualification. Definitely, it's relevant to every sector of accountancy and finance, as it opens up a plethora of opportunities for students, not only just in India, but globally as well. Now, very quickly, I would just like to very quickly take up the deliverables that we offer at VG Learning with respect to the ACCA qualification. And as a gold approved learning partner of VG Learning, what are the advantages that you get when you enroll with us for the ACCA qualification? So there we are. Yes, like I already mentioned that we are a gold approved learning partner, which vouches for the credibility, for the quality of the education that you will be getting here as part of your live online lectures. Now, because see, we understand most of the students are working professionals, or you must already be doing another qualification, like, probably doing your graduation or your CA qualification or any other qualification. So the lectures for ACCA have been categorically left for the live online sessions to be kept purely on weekends, wherein you can join in live and ask our ACCA qualified trainers like myself, and you can just ask your queries, understand your concepts day in day out, and definitely there is a lot of hand holding which is provided to the students. Now we've already seen the placement opportunities that ACCA offers, and as a partner of ACCA, we also provide 100% placement assistance to our students. So much so that, almost on a daily basis, these, opportunities which are coming across for ACCA students, for ACCA members, they get circulated and information is sent across to all our students as well. Now, the advantage here is that, when you study with a brand like VG Learning, rest assured, that you're in safe hands. So much so that we, in fact, offer our ACCA Pass Guarantee program to our students, which means that we ensure that you pass the qualification with the classes provided, and there will be proper assistance given to you in the form of mock exams, just making sure that you are exam ready in all perspective. That is why we have the largest ACCA network in India. Now, the Jhandewalan Center here in Delhi is also a licensed CBE center wherein you can pop in and give your on-demand CBE exams, the first 4 exams which are there, without waiting for any fixed date sheet which is there. Now, the VG Learning definitely has produced a lot of all India rank holders, not just only in the CA qualification, but also in the ACCA qualification as well. And like when I said, we will be making sure that you are exam ready. That happens because of the 360 degrees curriculum that we are following, 360 degrees pedagogy that we are following to make sure that you are ready for your ACCA exams. Like Prabhanshu just mentioned that the ACCA qualification is brilliantly flexible, but that does not make it an easy qualification. Believe you me, I teach 2 papers of ACCA, and yes, it's brilliantly progressive. But at the same time, you need a mentor to guide you, to prepare you for your ACCA journey. And that is where we come into the picture. Okay, like I said, many rank holders. So that is something which is there. Now, very quickly, I want to touch upon the fact that since all of you are coming from different, present qualifications, some of you might be in school, some of you might be taking up your graduation or must have just completed your graduation. Some of you might be in your CA journey, so like IPCC qualified at the finals level, or maybe a qualified CA as well. You can actually start your ACCA journey at all these different levels. For all of these different entry levels in ACCA, we do offer exclusive scholarships as well as exemptions, which Prabhanshu just mentioned in the presentation. And because we are a gold approved learning partner of ACCA, we offer exclusive scholarship to our students as well. So much so that, for claiming like a 9-paper exemption, instead of paying the full examination fees to ACCA, you only end up paying £20 per paper, which is like, you're saving around £800, somewhere around 87,600 rupees, which I've just mentioned on the slide. So this was just to very briefly introduce you with the multi-benefit, that VG Learning provides. For one-on-one counseling, you obviously have to get in touch with the team. I think it's good about time that we start with the Q&A session. So over to you, Himani, please. There are a lot of questions, I think, in the chat box as well as in the Q&A box. So over to you, Himani.
Thank you, Shilpi. Yes, there are a variety of questions. I'm not sure where to start from, but yeah, let me pick it up from the beginning. Okay, so Karan is asking Prabhanshu that he's a CA qualified student. So what are the opportunities available for him, specifically for the CA's qualified students?
So what we have to understand for the somebody who is a local professionally qualified and versus ACCA, I think CA plus ACCA gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of where do you want to and what kind of a career you want to pursue. So, for example, if you're looking forward to work in uh, the international business practice of any firm, there I think having understanding the international taxation, international laws, ability to apply the knowledge, so on and so forth. I think that's where the ACC comes in picture very much. So, for example, FR, I mean, if you talk about IFRS standards, I mean, we are the first one in the world actually to incorporate IFRS into our syllabus way back in 1996. So I think all those things make a very good combination for somebody who is a CA plus ACCA. I hope I've been able to answer the question. Next question, Mani.
Sure, Priyanshu. So so many students have asked this question that what is the salary they can expect as a fresher?
Okay. I think it's a fairly good question and fairly asked question. So if you talk about an average salary, so average salaries are usually calculated for those who are in B schools or probably in engineering colleges. For the professional qualifications, even if you talk about CA Institute or if you talk about ACC or any other institute, they typically don't count on the official average salary, because I have got students in Kochi as well. I've got students in Chennai. I've got students in Mumbai. I've got students in Delhi. Now, the same employer might pay the different salaries in all these locations because the cost of living is very much different in all these locations. What I can tell you is that typically if you join a big four, they offer the similar salary to an ACCA, what they offer to an chartered accountant. If you were to ask me for the figure, although it is just a rough estimate which I'm giving you at this point in time, for the affiliate, it should be somewhere around 5.5 to 8 lakhs per annum, depending on which location, which city you are in, which company you are applying for, so on and so forth. And for the ACCA members, of course, because they have the 3 years of experience, so that increases very significantly. I hope this answers the question.
Dr. Anshu, thank you for that. And many of the students are also asking the scope of ACCA specifically in India. So what are the opportunities available?
Okay. So in India, as I said that India, I mean, the word is actually globalized quite a lot these days. There are several companies which are operating in India, and there are several Indian companies which are also operating all across the world. So because of this globalization, there are significant number of opportunities which are available for ACC professionals in India, all across the sectors which you think of, ranging from consulting to the financial management, to the investment banking, to the IT companies, to the FMCG companies. ITC hires ACCS, for example, to the telecommunication, to the banking sector, so on and so forth. And I think I have already ran through that on the career portal. So yeah, currently, I mean, we can see that there are 1400 plus job listings which are there as on today, right? And which comprises of several other positions, because there are many listings which have got a multiple positions over there. So yes, if you talk about the scope of ACC in India, it is very significant and it is growing on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Priyanshu. So Vaibhav is asking, I have cleared 10 ACCA exams, which means I am eligible of BSc degree. And what's the scope of it?
Okay. So in order to become eligible for BSc in professional accountancy from Oxford Brookes University, what you have to do is that you have to write FR, audit and assurance, and FM paper. So you cannot take exemptions out of these 3 papers. What you have to do is that you have to write and pass these 3 papers. Once you write and pass these 3 papers, and if you have actually done that after having completed your 10 papers, then you can definitely go for BSc Oxford Brookes University by submitting a research analysis project. That is about the eligibility. Now, if you talk about the scope, I think education is something, I mean, which has got a scope in itself. The word education and scope are very much parallel to each other. If you have got an international degree, if you have got a domestic degree, because I'm sure that you must be doing some graduation from anywhere in the country, wherever you are based at, then you have got a professional qualification, your CV stands out. I think that's one of the biggest points. Now, tomorrow, if your company has to send somebody outside India, so for example, in the UK itself, they would always look for the people, I mean, who have got a local degree and have an understanding of the local qualification. So that's another opportunity which you can think of. So yes, there is a scope of doing the BSc in Oxford Brookes University degree.
Umar is asking, dear sir, I've completed my articleship of 3.5 years. Do I have to do practical experience of ACCA separately?
No, you can file that experience against the PER. You don't have to do that.
Just one moment. Okay, Karan is asking that my sister is in class 11, so whether she can register for ACCA and give knowledge level exams.
Yes. So anybody who is in class 11th or 12th, they can pursue ACCA qualification. They will register via FIA route, which is Foundations in Accountancy. The first three papers, which are BT, FA, and MA, which I talked about, they will transform into FBT, FFA, and FMA, which is Foundations in Business Technology, Foundations in Financial Accounting, and Foundations in Management Accounting. And once she completes the first three papers, FBT, FMA, and FFA, she gets a diploma and she continues with the remaining paper of ACCA qualification. So typically, she doesn't have to appear for any extra paper. It will all be the same thing. Only the name of the first three paper changes. That's the only thing. But yes, she can register for it.
Arpit is asking, is it compulsory to take all exemptions at once? I have cleared my group 1 of CA final, but my group 2 result is awaited.
No, you can always get more exemptions based on your new qualification. So for example, I have completed my IPCC and I'm about to get my graduation degree. So IPCC plus graduation actually gets an extra exemption of law, right? So what I can do is simply is that I can register on basis on my IPCC. Once I finish off my graduation, I can always submit that document to ACCA and I can get an additional exemption. So Arpit, if you are awaiting for your final, the second group, my best wishes for that. Yes, you can always avail the extra exemptions later on once you finish it off.
Thanks, Primanshu. So Umar is asking, can we give exams remotely?
Yes.
Yes, Umar, definitely you can. And we have a whole section of remote exams available on our website. I'll drop the link for your reference and you can go through it. Okay. Is there minimum marks to get exemption for each subject?
You have to pass that qualification. It's as simple as that. So if you're, I'm not sure whether you are asking in the CA final perspective, to which I covered the paper to paper. So if you are talking about your degrees, whether it is or qualification like IPCC or BCom, you have to pass them. If you're talking about your paper to paper, you should have 40 plus because that's what the CA requires. You have to get a 40 plus to get that paper passed.
Yes, and I've also dropped the link of exemption calculator in the chat box. So for all the exemption queries, you may please go through that. Okay, so Sharanya is asking, when can we do our articleship? I think she means PER. So,
PER can be done anytime. So if you have got a prior experience, like somebody has asked about the articleship, for us, it is a prior experience because you'll be enrolling later on, right? Or it is during the qualification itself. Say, for example, you are doing the articleship. Along with that, you are doing your qualification, or probably you are teaching somewhere finance and accounting. Even we consider the teaching experience up to 1 year. That is also something which can be considered. Or if you want to finish up the qualification, get on a job, that can also be considered. Even the part-time working experience, if that is relevant to ACCA, finance and accounting, yes, that can also be considered. Quite flexible into that.
Thanks, Pranshu. I think Shilpi, the next question is for you that is coming from many students. They're asking about if there is any minimum criteria for the scholarship or anything like that.
So basically, it depends upon your base qualification at the time you are registering for the ACCA qualification. So if you're a qualified CA, your number of exemptions will be different. Your scholarship amount will be different. If you are an IPCC plus 40 mark student, your number of exemptions will be different, and so will be your number of scholarships. Similar goes for a BCom graduate as well from a recognized university. So the crux is that as per your base qualification, your number of exemptions will be calculated, and similarly, your scholarship from VG Learning will be calculated likewise.
Thank you, Shilpi. Okay, so a student is asking cost for IPCC pass students. For that, I think you can also, can you just guide where they can reach out to?
Absolutely. So there is a link on the screen which I've just shared. So either you can just quickly scan on the barcode given or note down the number, book yourself a one-on-one counseling for ACCA with our expert team. And definitely, you know, your curated number of exemptions, scholarship, everything will be guided to you.
Thank you, Shilpi. And Prabhanshu, actually very country specific questions are coming in, like value of ACCA in Canada or in GCC countries. So country specific questions are there.
So for example, somebody is asking for the GCC. So we do have the statutory rights. I already covered that if you are going to, for example, UAE, you can write on your card UAECA. So of course, that kind of, and we do have the mutual recognition agreements. That means they recognize us, we recognize them. That kind of the agreements are there with the several countries all across the globe. And that's why I said in more than 65 countries, you can actually look forward to have the statutory rights. However, if you talk about the jobs, you can actually work anywhere. I mean, that depends on your employer. If your employer is based in US, why can't actually you being an ACCA work over there? So it's pretty much available. And there are jobs available for ACC professionals all across the world.
Thank you, Prabhanshu. Okay. Shilpi, I would request you to take this question. So Jagannath is saying that he's a CA qualified student and how many papers he's left with, and you know basically how he can plan his journey. If you can, as a tutor, guide him.
Absolutely. So being a qualified CA, you already have, you know, gained 9 exemptions out of your total 13 paper journey. So for only the 4 papers, which are the compulsory papers, for, you know, which are the professional level papers, are the ones which are left for you. 2 papers out of them are going to be the compulsory papers, and out of the 4 optional papers, you have to choose any 2 optional papers, being the specialization papers. And for these 9 exemptions, like I already mentioned, you will be getting a scholarship up to 87,600 from VG Learning. You obviously have to get in touch with the team to get in a detailed counseling session for yourself. But yes, majorly this will be the benefit that will be provided to you. And also, since you've already completed your CA, your 36 months of PER, which is the articleship that you've already covered, will be recognized as your PER benefit in ACCA as well. So that's a lot of benefit coming in your way.
Thanks, Shilpi. Arpit is asking BSc diploma available for those who are claiming exemptions and are in CA final. So Arpit, if you have exemptions in FR, FMN, audit and assurance, so you have to forfeit those exemptions and then you can pursue your BSc degree. Okay, so Prabhanshu, a lot of students are asking about practicing in India if they pursue ACCA.
Okay, so ACCA professionals don't have the practicing rights in India. However, if you see around 5%, in fact, the data is lesser than 5%, students do really practice. And rest of the 95% are actually working professionals, even if they are locally professional qualified. So if you talk about the job opportunities, yes, there are job opportunities. If you talk about the practicing rights, no, there are no in India.
All right. So the one student is asking, after finishing ACCA, can we go international and study any other further courses like CPA, etc.?
Yeah. So that is very much available. I mean, you can pursue any qualification, and after that, if you want to pursue further, you can always go.
Thanks. Just give me a moment. There are a lot of questions and it's not stopping. So just give me a moment.
No problem. So I just saw a couple of questions here. Meanwhile, you are looking around. I'll just answer those. So somebody was asking for ACCA's Mumbai office address. So our Mumbai office is in Powai, Hiran and Nani Gardens. I hope that answers the question. Exact address is something which you can find out. I mean, don't remember the exact address. How ACCA is different from CA, I think I've thoroughly covered. ACCA is more global, ACCA is more flexible, and it saves a lot of time. And if you talk about its practicality, the way we evaluate the question papers, I think that is entirely different. We do have the case study basis question papers, and that is very practically crafted. So that's what, these are the few differences between ACCA and other qualifications. I think somebody was asking that opening up upon your own business, would ACCA help? The qualification will help. I think if you have a professional qualification, that would help you a lot if you are setting up your own business. Because even, I mean, and for running any business, you have to actually have that your P&L, balance sheets, your finances, your expenses, all those things actually on your fingertips. And if you are professionally qualified, that will definitely support you a lot. So if you really want to set up your business, please do that. Yeah, these are the few questions I've mentioned. I've studied, I mean, by the time,
Okay.
I mean,
There's a student, I think you've already answered it, but again, this question has come up. Can an ACCA get practicing rights in GCC countries?
yes. In the UAE, say, for example, I mentioned, you can write on your card if you are a ACC member.
Karan and Umar both have asked the same question. Professional level exams are on the center or computer based?
So our centers are also computer based.
Yes.
So we don't have the pen and paper anymore. All the question papers are absolutely computer based. So yes, you can choose the center of your nearest. Otherwise, if you want to go for RI, remotely invigilated exam, that is also possible.
Thank you, Pranshu. I think all the other questions are repetitive in nature. So if there are any other questions, we can give it a minute.
I think there was somebody who was asking that I'm a chartered accountant. If I want to pursue out of the remaining 4 questions or 4 papers, which one should I take it up? Although I think Shilpi is the one person who can answer this question better than me, being a tutor herself. But I would suggest always play your strength. So whatever the subject you liked most and you are most confident in CA, and the kind of the work which you are currently doing, you should opt for that paper in ACCA. And then once you pass that paper, then your confidence builds up. Then you take the remaining papers. Please don't be overconfident that I can pass these questions. I can pass ACC qualification easily. This is very different. And you really have to take it seriously. Shilpi, would you like to add anything from your side?
I absolutely agree with what you said. I mean, considering that many students come in from the CA fraternity, and they feel that because ACCA is providing so much flexibility, this probably is an easy qualification. So it's definitely flexible. It's definitely more progressive, but it's definitely not easy. So whatever subject students need, are choosing, they have to be diligent in their studies in that subject. It's as simple as that. And as a trainer, that is precisely, what we always guide the students as well.
So Prabhanshu, since you have given the address of Mumbai office, somebody is asking for Delhi office as well.
Delhi is in Aerocity, so which is in Word Mark 3. That's where both Himani and I are based.
So somebody is asking is which is a better course, CPA or ACCA?
How do you define the better? I mean, that's what my first question would be. Look, it depends on which course suits your requirements. And for that, first of all, you have to understand that what is your requirement. Look, all the qualifications, if you talk about CPA, if you talk about CA, if you talk about ACCA, they are crafted for a very different purpose. So if you talk about CPA, CPA is more gap oriented, which is generally accepted accounting principles. Now, gap is something which is, of course, been there in the US market and in the few other markets which are there. IFRS, if you talk about, that is what ACCA is based upon, right? IFRS is something which is being covered by almost 70% of the world. So if you go to Europe, IFRS is dominant there. If you go to US, GAAP is dominant over there, right? But that doesn't mean that the CPAs don't work in Europe, or otherwise ACCAs don't work in US. So you have to understand what is your requirement. And basis on that, I think you should decide what do you want to pursue. But if you talk about the depth, I understand that it attracts a lot, that there are lesser number of question papers or exams in one exam qualification. But what you also have to understand that depth which you get. So if you're, I mean, for example, we evaluate you on FR paper, which is financial reporting. Then further we give you an advanced level of it, which is SBR, which is strategy business reporting. Now you understand the depth of this. You are giving a paper, and then you are giving an advanced level paper of that. Now you'll feel the difference when you'll talk to somebody about the accounting standards. So depth is another point which you have to consider.
Thanks, Prabhanshu. There are very other specific questions regarding people's experience and different job profiles, and they want to know the best entry route. So I think you can get in touch with Shilpi and team separately, and they will guide you for that.
Absolutely. So the link is already shared on the screen. I request anyone whose questions has not yet been answered or would like to book a consultation with the team, please just scan the barcode or just drop in a query on the number given, and definitely our one-on-one counseling session shall be arranged for you. I think for a very limited number of audience that we had today, there were a lot of questions being asked. So that's good to know that there is so much curiosity amongst the students, and because it's actually a very genuinely good qualification, that is where it all comes from. So it's just great to know. I think, Himani, we're at a good time to wind up the session. Would that be okay?
Yes, Shilpi, I think we can conclude now.
I'll just take 1 minute because I could see the last question over here, which was related to MCQs. Does ACCA qualification has MCQs? So I missed out actually talking about the ACC exam structure. So for the first 4 papers, which are BT from law, BT till law, we do have the question papers basis on the MCQs itself. We don't have MCQs, rather we call it multitask questions. So there are fill in the blanks, there are drag and drop, there are choose one best out of the 4 options, so on and so forth. So yes, there are multitask questions in the first 4 papers. That is 100% multitask questions. If you move from the 5th paper to the 9th paper, which is FM, we do have mix of multitask questions and subjective questions. So subjective questions could be in the form of the notepad, which you have to use because all the exams are actually computer based, or it could be we could provide you Excel. So basis on what the question type is, you will be provided the interface accordingly, right? And usually there are 3 sections except in the paper of audit and assurance. The first 2 sections are multitask questions, and section C is actually the subjective one. Once you finish off this, and then you move to the P level question paper, which are exams, which are strategic professional. These are purely case studies. Although the previous question paper exams are also case studies or practical, but these will be the purely case studies and will be subjective in nature. So I hope I have been able to answer the questions. Shilpi, back to you. Sorry to hijack.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Prabhanshu and Himani, for sparing out your valuable time today and definitely enlightening so many students with the multifaceted benefits that the ACCA qualification brings to us. And definitely that's precisely why we say millions of opportunities and one global qualification, which is the ACCA. And I really request all the students to please get in touch with the team, and get a detailed session booked for yourself. It's a very important decision that you shall be making towards your career choice. So definitely it will require more than just this 1 hour. We will be doing, a detailed session with yourself and then only make an informed choice about which career option you want to choose for yourself. Thank you so much again, Prabhanshu and Imani, and all the students who have joined in today for this valuable session. Thank you so much, guys.
It's a pleasure to be here, Shilpi. Thank you. And thanks to everyone for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Shilpi, and thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.